On March 11, 2011, at 2:46 p.m., a massive earthquake with a magnitude of 9 on the Richter scale, the fourth largest earthquake to ever have been recorded, struck Japan. 49 minutes later, a tsunami up to 39 meters or 128 feet hit the coast of Japan, killing a total of 15,891 and over 2,500 are still missing as of April 2015. The tsunami also caused the largest nuclear meltdown since Chernobyl. In the Fukushima prefecture of Japan, in a town named Okuma, a nuclear power plant Fukushima Daiichi owned and operated by TEPCO, also known as Tokyo Electric Power Company, was hit by the tsunami and completely lost power. Of the 13 backup generators and batteries, only one had survived the tsunami, leading to the meltdowns of hundreds of fuel rods in units 1 through 3, causing Unit 1 to explode and the rest to spew nuclear waste. The power plant itself began construction in the late 1960s, where it was supposed to be built on a bluff that was 40 meters above sea level, according to a previous TEPCO employee, also saying that if TEPCO had simply not dug that deep into the ground, they would have never faced a nuclear disaster. Further adding to making TEPCO a prime villain is the articles that the Japan Times reviewed, stating that it was TEPCO's decision to have the bluff cut down so they could save money when operating water pumps. But TEPCO may not be the only one to blame for making this decision. In the 1960s, not only did nuclear regulators, but also seismologists thought that the power plant wasn't at risk for massive earthquakes or tsunamis. In an application form that TEPCO submitted to the Japanese government, it stated that in the past 700 years, no major noteworthy damage had been done to the Fukushima prefecture. That form was meant to receive the approval needed for the building of the first reactor, and it was approved by the Japanese government, pushing the blame onto seismologists who said it would be safe, but also the government as they approved building the reactor. Now in present time, TEPCO is still further blamed for being the one that caused all of this to happen. However, TEPCO wasn't always the villain. Local residents loved the idea of the power plant as it brought stable jobs into the community and allowed them to stay with their families, even saying that they couldn't have felt happier, making TEPCO the hero in these people's eyes. While they had been seen as a good company for a short amount of time, recently they have been under a lot of fire from all different kinds of people. The succession of problems at Daiichi was initially difficult to interpret, with confusion compounded by incomplete and inconsistent information provided by government officials and executives of the plant's operator. This statement was conducted to give them a bad image as they are shady and unreliable when it comes to providing information. Many of the workers there have been portrayed as both the villains and the heroes of the situation. The Fukushima 50 are a group of 180 workers that will work in 50-man shifts in the dangerous conditions of the power plant being exposed to massive amounts of radioactive material. Within themselves they saw each other as wartime heroes, saluting one another as they left to fight the issue at hand. He was a kamikaze, a samurai, or simply one of the Fukushima 50. Many news firms like to advance the idea of them as heroes, saying things like leaving 50 or so workers in the desperate effort to keep the cores of the three stricken reactors cooled with seawater, pumped by firefighting equipment, further pushes the idea that these workers were willing to risk their lives in order to prevent further catastrophe even when things seemed grim. We know this because of words like desperate. Other reports describe this group of workers with even more positive phrases like working at tremendous personal risk and hundreds of workers stayed at the plant, braving high levels of radiation. Describing the workers with positive words manipulates the reader into liking the workers even more. But the media may be covering them in such a positive light in order to offset the hatred the workers receive by many of the Japanese communities. In Japanese culture, people are identified by who they work for, and since they work for TEPCO, a company that is no longer well received, they don't attract good attention. They are being discriminated against. In a BBC article, Dr. Shigemura says they have tried renting apartments, but landlords deny them. Some have had bottles thrown at them, and some even had papers pinned on their doors saying, "Get out, TEPCO." While they risk their life for others, society views them as TEPCO, not heroes, and TEPCO has a horrible connotation with it. "They're not heroes for us," a local said. "I feel sorry for them, but I don't want to see them as heroes. We see them as one block. They work for TEPCO." The sole reason that the Fukushima 50 are being treated so badly is because of how society blames TEPCO, villainizing anyone that has anything to do with them. But the workers are trying to de-villainize themselves and improve the image of their company, saying things like, "I feel deeply responsible," while tearing up. It might seem strange to others, but it's natural for us to put our company first. It's part of the mind and spirit of TEPCO workers to deal with emergencies, further attempting to clear up the name of TEPCO and themselves, with making workers more sympathetic and giving themselves a good image within the community. But still, the community has not only had a backlash to TEPCO, but also towards the Japanese government, as when Japan was trying to get the bid for the 2020 Olympics, they stressed the unique Japanese sense of omotenashi, or hospitality. But the author of the article, writing for the Japanese Time, used this against them, as they have forgotten the Fukushima victims, making them hypocrites. Articles have even gone as far as saying those that were discarded have been treated like kimin, which mean people who have been discarded, because they have been forgotten and abandoned by society. The government abandoned the people of Fukushima, even the children, not only making society a villain, but also the government, as they ignored the people that are in need of help, making them seem selfish and unsympathetic. While the story of Fukushima is still quite new, we can certainly see that people have made a story where the government and TEPCO have become villains. Also learning that, while some may see people as heroes, they may be portrayed as villains in different cultures.